Odyssey, Book 10, Aeolus and the Bag of Winds, the Laestrygonians, a year with Circe. We came next to the Aeolian island, and there lived Aeolus, Hippotas' son, dear to the deathless gods, on a floating island, all around it a wall of bronze unbreakable, and the cliff runs up sheer. 12 children of his live in his halls, 6 daughters, and 6 sons in their prime, and he has given his daughters to his sons to be their wives. They are always feasting beside their dear father and their honored mother, and good things past counting are set before them. All day the house is savory with roasting, and the courtyard rings with the sound. And at night they sleep beside their honored wives among blankets, on corded bedsteads. To their city then we came, and their beautiful house. A full month he made much of me, and questioned me on everything, Ilium, the Argives' ships, the Achaeans' homecoming, and I told him all of it through, in its due order. And when I in my turn asked for the road, and begged him to send me on, he refused me nothing. He prepared my sending. He gave me a bag, the flayed hide of a 9-year ox, and in it he bound the courses of the blustering winds, for the son of Cronos made him steward of the winds, to still them or to rouse them, whichever he will. In my hollow ship he lashed it fast with a shining cord of silver, so that not the smallest breath could slip past. And for me he sent out the west wind's breath to blow, to carry the ships and the men. But it was not to be accomplished. We were destroyed by our own folly. 9 days and nights alike we sailed on, and on the 10th our father's fields were rising into view, so near we could see men tending their fires. Then sweet sleep came over me, worn out as I was. All that time I had worked the ship's sheet myself, yielding it to no other companion, to bring us home the faster. And the companions began to talk to one another, and said I was bringing home gold and silver for myself, gifts of great-hearted Aeolus, Hippotas' son. And thus would one of them say with a glance at his neighbor, "Look at him, how loved he is, how honored, among all men, whatever city or land he comes to. He carries out of Troy a mass of beautiful treasure, his plunder, while we, who have accomplished the same long road, come home with empty hands. And now Aeolus, obliging him in friendship, has given him this besides. Quick then, let us see what is in it, how much gold, how much silver the bag holds." So they talked, and the companions' evil counsel won. They opened the bag, and all the winds burst out, and the storm snatched them up at once and swept them seaward, weeping, away from their father's land. And I, waking, debated in my own blameless heart whether to drop from the deck and drown in the sea, or endure in silence, and stay among the living. I endured, and I stayed. Covering my head I lay where I was, and the ships were carried by the evil blast of the storm back to the Aeolian island, and my companions groaned. There we set foot on the mainland, and drew water, and the companions quickly took their meal beside the fast ships. And when we had tasted food and drink, then I took with me a herald and 1 companion, and went to the famous house of Aeolus. I found him feasting beside his wife and his children. We came into the house, and sat down by the doorposts on the threshold, and they were amazed at heart, and asked, "How are you here, Odysseus? What evil power attacked you? Surely we sent you off with all care, to reach your fatherland and your house, and whatever place is dear to you." So they spoke, and I, grieving at heart, addressed them. "My evil companions ruined me, they, and a pitiless sleep, but heal it, friends, the power is yours." So I spoke, plying them with soft words, and they fell silent. And the father answered, "Out of this island, fast, you vilest thing alive. It is against all right for me to harbor or to send on his way a man the blessed gods detest. Out, since you come here hated by the deathless ones." So speaking, he sent me from his house, groaning heavily. From there we sailed on further, grieved at heart, and the men's spirit was worn down by the grinding rowing, our own fault. No sending wind showed any more. 6 days and nights alike we sailed on, and on the 7th we came to Lamus's steep citadel, Telepylus of the Laestrygonians, where herdsman hails herdsman, the one driving in calls, and the one driving out answers. There a sleepless man could have earned a double wage, one herding cattle, one pasturing silvery sheep. So close together are the paths of night and day. There, when we came into the famous harbor, a sheer cliff runs unbroken all around it, on both sides, and jutting headlands facing one another, thrust out at the mouth, and the entrance is narrow. There all the others steered their curved ships in, and moored them inside the hollow harbor close together, for no wave ever swelled in there, great or small, but a white calm lay all around it. I alone held my black ship outside, there at the edge, and made the cables fast to the rock, and I climbed a broken lookout height and stood there. No works of oxen or of men showed anywhere. We saw only smoke springing up from the land. Then I sent companions ahead, to learn what men they were who ate bread upon this earth. 2 men I chose, and sent a third with them as herald. They went ashore and took a level road, by which the wagons hauled timber down to the city from the high mountains. And before the city they met a girl, drawing water, the sturdy daughter of Laestrygonian Antiphates. She had come down to the fair-flowing spring Artacia, from which they carried water to the town. And they came up beside her and spoke to her, and asked who was king of these people, and whom he ruled. And she pointed them at once to her father's high-roofed house. But when they entered the famous house, they found his wife huge as a mountain peak, and they were sick with horror at her. She called famous Antiphates straightway from the gathering place her husband, and he plotted their wretched destruction. He snatched up one of my companions on the spot, and made his meal of him, and the other 2 sprang away and came flying to the ships. Then he raised the war cry through the city, and hearing it, the mighty Laestrygonians came thronging from every side, thousands of them, not like men, but like the giants. From the cliffs they pelted us with man-heavy stones, and at once an evil din rose up along the ships, the scream of dying men, the crunch of shattering hulls. Spearing them like fish, they carried home their loathsome meal. While they were slaughtering those inside the deep harbor, I drew the sharp sword from beside my thigh, and cut the cables of my dark blue proud ship, and quickly I roused my companions, and ordered them to fall to their oars and get us clear of the evil. Gladly my ship fled out to open water, away from the beetling cliffs, but the others were destroyed there, all together. From there we sailed on further, grieved at heart, glad to be out of death, having lost our dear companions. And we came to the island of Aiaia, and there lived Circe of the lovely braids, dread goddess with a mortal's voice, own sister of Aeetes the deadly-minded, both born of Helios who carries light to mortals, and of Perse their mother, whom ocean fathered. There we brought the ship silently to the shore, and into a harbor fit for ships, and some god was guiding us. We stepped ashore there, and for 2 days and 2 nights we lay, eating our hearts with weariness and pain together. But when dawn of the lovely braids brought the 3rd day round, then I took my spear and my sharp sword, and went up quickly from the ship to a viewing place, in hope of seeing men's works or catching a voice. I climbed a broken lookout height and stood there, and smoke showed to my eyes, rising from the wide-wayed earth in Circe's halls, up through the dense brush and the timber. And I debated then in my mind and in my heart whether to go and look, since I had seen the fire-bright smoke. And as I weighed it, this seemed to me the better way, to go first to the fast ship and the shore of the sea, give the companions their meal, and send them out to learn. But when, on my way down, I was near the curved ship, then some god took pity on me, alone as I was, and sent a great high-antlered stag into my very path. He was coming down to the river from his forest pasture to drink, for the sun's force was heavy on him, and as he stepped out I struck him on the spine, mid-back. The bronze spear went clean through, and down he dropped in the dust with a cry, and the life flew from him. I set my foot on him, and drew the bronze spear out of the wound, and laid it down there on the ground, and left it. Then I pulled brushwood and withies and plaited a rope, a fathom's length, well twisted all along, and bound together the feet of the huge beast, and went down to the black ship, carrying him slung across my neck, leaning on my spear. There was no carrying him on the shoulder with one hand. He was a very great beast. I flung him down before the ship, and woke my companions with gentle words, standing by each man in turn. Friends, for all our grief, we will not go down to the house of Hades before our destined day. Come then, while there is food and drink in the fast ship, let us think of eating, and not be worn away with hunger. So I spoke, and they quickly heeded my words. They uncovered their heads there by the shore of the barren sea, and marveled at the stag. He was a very great beast. And when they had had their joy of gazing, they washed their hands and made the glorious feast ready. So then all day long, till the setting of the sun, we sat feasting on meat past counting, and sweet wine. And when the sun went down, and the dusk came on, then we lay down to sleep on the surf line of the sea. When dawn appeared, the early born, with fingers of rose, then I called an assembly, and spoke among them all. Hear my words, companions, for all your suffering. Friends, we do not know where the dark is, or where the dawn, or where the sun that carries light to mortals goes under the earth, or where he rises. Let us think then, quickly, whether any device is left us. I do not believe there is. I climbed a broken lookout height, and saw an island, wreathed round with the boundless sea. The island itself lies low, and in the middle of it my eyes caught smoke, up through the dense brush and the timber. So I spoke, and their own hearts broke within them, remembering the deeds of Lestrygonian Antiphates, and the violence of the great-hearted man-eating Cyclops. They wept aloud, letting the big tears fall, but nothing came of all their mourning. Then I counted off all my strong grieved companions into 2 bands, and gave each band a leader. I led the one, and godlike Eurylochus the other. We shook the lots quickly in a bronze helmet, and out jumped the lot of great-hearted Eurylochus. So he set out, and with him 22 companions, weeping, and they left us behind in tears as well. In a forest glen they found the house of Circe, built of polished stones in a place with a clear view all around, and around it were mountain wolves and lions, creatures she herself had bewitched, giving them evil drugs. And these did not spring at the men, no, they rose and fawned around them, waving their long tails, as when dogs fawn around their master coming from a feast, for he always carries home some sweet morsel for them. So the strong-clawed wolves and the lions fawned around them, and they were terrified at the sight of the dread huge creatures. They stood in the gateway of the goddess of the lovely hair, and inside they heard Circe singing in a beautiful voice, moving to and fro at her great imperishable loom, the weaving goddesses do. Fine-spun work, graceful and shining. And Pelides began to speak among them, a leader of men, who of all my companions was closest and dearest to me. Friends, someone inside there, moving at a great loom, is singing, beautifully. The whole floor hums with it, goddess or woman. Quick, let us call out to her. So he spoke, and they lifted their voices and called. And she came out at once, and opened the shining doors and invited them in, and all together, in their innocence, they followed her. Only Eurylochus stayed behind, suspecting a snare. She led them in and seated them on benches and chairs, and stirred them a mixture, cheese and barley meal and pale honey in Pramnian wine. And into the dish she blended baleful drugs, to make them wholly forget their father's land. And when she had served it, and they had drunk it down, at once she struck them with her wand, and penned them in the pigsties. And they had the heads of pigs, the voice, the bristles, the body, but their minds stayed steady, exactly as before. So they were penned there weeping, and Circe threw them acorns of oak and ilex, and cornel berries, the things pigs eat, the wallowers on the ground. But Eurylochus came running back to the fast black ship to bring the news of the companions and their bitter fate. And he could not get one word out, for all his straining, struck to the heart with his great anguish. His eyes brimmed full of tears, and his spirit was all lament. But when we questioned him, all of us, in our amazement, at last he told the destruction of the other companions. We went up through the brush, as you commanded, glorious Odysseus, and in a forest glen we found a beautiful house, built of polished stones, in a place with a clear view all around, and there someone at a great loom was singing, clear and high, goddess or woman, and they lifted their voices and called. And she came out at once, and opened the shining doors and invited them in, and all together in their innocence, they followed her. But I stayed behind, suspecting a snare, and they vanished, all of them together. Not one of them appeared again, though I sat a long time watching. So he spoke, and I slung my silver-studded sword about my shoulders, the great bronze one, and my bow with it, and ordered him to lead me back by the same way. But he seized me with both hands, clasping my knees, and wailing he spoke winged words to me. Do not take me back there, Zeus nurtured, against my will. Leave me here, for I know it, you will not come back yourself, and you will not bring one of your companions. No, with these men here, quickly, let us run, we may still escape the evil day. So he spoke, and I answered him and said, Eurylochus, stay here then, where you are, eating and drinking beside the hollow black ship, but I am going. Hard necessity is on me. So speaking, I went up from the ship in the sea, but just as, threading the sacred glens, I was about to reach the great house of Circe of the many drugs, there Hermes of the golden rod met me as I came toward the house, in the likeness of a young man with his first down on his lip, in the loveliest season of youth. He clamped a hand on mine, and spoke a word, and named me. Where now, poor doomed man, alone along the heights, a stranger to the country. Your companions there in Circe's house are penned like pigs, packed in their hidden sties. Is it to free them you are going? You will not come back yourself, I tell you. You will only stay there with the others. But come, I will release you from the evil. I will save you. Here, take this good drug with you into Circe's house. It will keep the evil day away from your head. And I will tell you all the deadly designs of Circe. She will mix you a potion and cast drugs into the dish. But even so, she will not have power to bewitch you. The good drug I give you will not let her. And I will tell you everything. The moment Circe strikes at you with her long wand, that instant draw the sharp sword from beside your thigh, and go for Circe as though you meant to kill her. She will be seized with terror, and invite you to her bed. Do not then refuse the bed of the goddess, if you want her to free your companions and host you well, but order her to swear the great oath of the blessed ones that she is not planning some new evil against you, lest she strip you naked and make you a coward, an unmanned thing. So speaking, the slayer of Argus handed me the drug, pulling it out of the ground, and showed me its nature. At the root it was black, but its flower like milk, the gods call it. And it is hard for mortal men to dig, but the gods have power to do all things. Then Hermes went away over the wooded island toward high Olympus, and I went on to the house of Circe, and my heart ran dark with many things as I went. I stopped at the doors of the goddess of the lovely hair, and standing there I shouted, and the goddess heard my voice. And she came out at once, and opened the shining doors, and invited me in, and I followed her, grieved at heart. She led me in and seated me on a silver-studded chair, beautiful, cunningly worked, with a footstool for my feet, and made me a potion in a golden cup for me to drink, and slipped a drug in it with evil purpose in her heart. And when she served it and I drank it off, and it did not bewitch me, she struck me with her wand and spoke a word and named me. Off to the sty now, lie down with the rest of your companions. So she spoke, and I drew the sharp sword from beside my thigh and went for Circe, as though I meant to kill her. And she shrieked, and ran under the blade, and seized my knees, and wailing she spoke winged words to me. What man are you, and from where? Where are your city and your parents? Wonder holds me. You drank these drugs and were not bewitched, and no other man, no, not one, has withstood these drugs once he drank them, once they passed the fence of his teeth. The mind in your breast is proof against enchantment. Surely you are Odysseus, the man of many turnings, whom the golden-rotted slayer of Argus always told me would come, on his way home from Troy in his fast black ship. Come now, put your sword in its sheath, and let the two of us mount my bed together, so that mingled there in the bed of love, we may come to trust one another. So she spoke, and I answered her and said, Circe, how can you bid me be gentle with you? You who turned my companions into pigs in your own halls, and keep me here, and scheming still, invite me to your chamber, to climb into your bed, so that stripped naked I may be made a coward, an unmanned thing. I will not consent to climb into your bed, unless you bring yourself, goddess, to swear me the great oath that you are not planning some new evil against me. So I spoke, and she swore it at once, as I demanded. And when she had sworn, and made an end of the oath, then I mounted the surpassingly beautiful bed of Circe. Meanwhile, 4 handmaids were busy through the halls, the serving women who keep her house in order, daughters of the springs and the groves and the sacred rivers that flow out to the sea. One of them threw beautiful covers over the chairs, purple above, with linen spread beneath. Another drew silver tables up before the chairs and set out golden baskets on them. The third mixed honey-hearted wine, sweet wine in a silver bowl, and set out golden cups. And the fourth brought water and kindled a great fire under a huge cauldron, and the water warmed. And when the water boiled in the bright bronze, she set me in the tub and bathed me from the great cauldron, tempering it to my liking, pouring it over my head and shoulders, until she had taken the heart-wasting weariness from my limbs. And when she had bathed me and rubbed me richly with oil, and thrown a beautiful cloak around me and a tunic, she led me in and seated me on a silver-studded chair, beautiful, cunningly worked, with a footstool for my feet, and a handmaid brought water for my hands in a pitcher, a beautiful golden one, and poured it over a silver basin for me to wash, and drew up a polished table beside me. The grave housekeeper brought bread and set it before me, laying out delicacies in plenty, giving gladly of her store, and pressed me to eat. but my heart was not in it. I sat with my thoughts elsewhere, and my spirit boded evil. And when Circe saw me sitting there, not reaching my hands to the bread, gripped in a strong grief, she came near, and spoke winged words to me. Why do you sit like this, Odysseus, like a man struck dumb, eating your heart, and touching neither food nor drink? Do you suspect some other snare? You have no cause to fear. I have already sworn you the strong oath. So she spoke, and I answered her and said, Circe, what man with any decency in him could bear to taste of food and drink before his companions were set free, and he saw them with his eyes? If you press me in good faith to eat and drink, then free them. Let my eyes see my trusted companions. So I spoke, and Circe went out through the hall, wand in hand, and opened the doors of the sty, and drove them out in the shape of 9 near-fattened hogs. They stood there facing her, and she went among them, anointing each with another drug. And the bristles the baleful drug had grown on them, the drug the lady Circe gave them, dropped from their limbs, and they were men again, younger than they were before, far more beautiful, and taller to the eye. They knew me, and each man clung to my hands, and a passionate weeping came over us all, and the house rang terribly around us, and the goddess herself was moved to pity. She came close beside me, and spoke, shining among goddesses. Zeus-born son of Laertes, Odysseus of the many devices, go now to your fast ship and the shore of the sea. First of all, haul the ship up onto dry land, and stow your goods and all the tackle in the caves. Then come back yourself, and bring your trusted companions. So she spoke, and my proud heart consented. I went my way to the fast ship and the shore of the sea, and there by the fast ship I found my trusted companions in pitiful lamentation, letting the big tears fall, as when farmyard calves around the herded cows that come back to the dung-yard, filled with grazing, all skip and frisk to meet them. The pens no longer hold them, but lowing without pause, they run around their mothers. So those men, when their eyes took me in, poured around me weeping, and to their hearts it felt as if they had come to their fatherland, to their very town in rugged Ithaca, where they were bred and born. And wailing, they spoke winged words to me. At your return, Zeus nurtured, we rejoice as if we had come home to Ithaca, our father's land. But come, tell the destruction of the other companions. So they spoke, and I answered with soft words. First of all, let us haul the ship up onto dry land, and stow our goods and all the tackle in the caves. Then bestir yourselves, all of you, and come with me, so you may see our companions in the sacred halls of Circe, eating and drinking, what they have never fails. So I spoke, and they quickly heeded my words. Only Eurylochus tried to hold back all my companions, and lifting his voice he spoke winged words to them. Poor fools, where are we going? Why do you hanker after these evils? To go down into Circe's hall, who will turn every one of us into pigs or wolves or lions, to guard her great house for her, and guard it we must, the way the Cyclops did his work, when our companions came to his inner yard, and the reckless Odysseus with them. It was that man's blind folly killed them too. So he spoke, and I turned it over in my mind, whether to draw the long-edged sword from beside my thick thigh, strike off his head, and bring it down in the dust, kinsman by marriage though he was, and a close one. But my companions held me back with honeyed words, this one and that one. Zeus-born, this man if you command it, we will leave here by the ship, to stay and guard the ship, lead the rest of us to the sacred house of Circe. So speaking they went up from the ship in the sea, and Eurylochus was not left behind by the hollow ship. He followed. Meanwhile, in her house, Circe had bathed the other companions with kind care, and rubbed them richly with oil, and thrown about them fleecy cloaks and tunics, and we found them all feasting well in the halls. And when the men saw one another face to face and knew each other, they wept and lamented, and the house rang round them. And she came close beside me and spoke, shining among goddesses. No more of this swelling lament now. I know it myself. All you have suffered on the fish-filled sea, all the harm lawless men have done you on dry land. Come now, eat your food and drink your wine, until you gather back the spirit in your breasts that was yours when you first left your father's land of rugged Ithaca. Now you are withered, spiritless, forever brooding on the misery of your wandering, your hearts never in the feast, for truly you have suffered much. So she spoke, and our proud hearts consented. So there, day after day, for the full round of a year, we sat feasting on meat past counting and sweet wine, But when the year was out, and the seasons turned in their wheel, as the months waned and the long days came round, then my trusted companions called me out and said, "You are possessed. It is time to remember your fatherland, if it is truly decreed that you be saved, and come to your high-roofed house and your own fatherland." So they spoke, and my proud heart consented. So then all day long till the setting of the sun, we sat feasting on meat past counting and sweet wine. And when the sun went down and the dusk came on, the men lay down to sleep through the shadowy halls, but I climbed into the surpassingly beautiful bed of Circe and clasped her knees in supplication, and the goddess heard my voice. And lifting my voice I spoke winged words to her. "Circe, make good now the promise that you made me to send me home. My spirit strains for it already, and my companions too. They wear my heart away, mourning around me whenever you are elsewhere." So I spoke, and she answered at once, shining among goddesses. "Zeus-born son of Laertes, Odysseus of the many devices, stay no longer in my house against your will. But there is another journey you must accomplish first. You must go down to the house of Hades and dread Persephone to consult the ghost of Theban Tiresias, the blind seer, whose mind stands fast. To him, even dead, Persephone has granted understanding, to him alone the power of thought. The rest flit past as shadows." So she spoke, and my heart broke within me, and I wept, sitting there on the bed. My heart had no more will to live and see the light of the sun. But when I had had my fill of weeping and writhing, then I answered her with words and said, "Circe, and who will be pilot on that voyage? No man ever yet reached Hades in a black ship." So I spoke, and she answered at once, shining among goddesses, "Zeus-born son of Laertes, Odysseus of the many devices, let no lack of a pilot at the ship concern you. Set up the mast, spread the white sails open, and sit. The breath of the north wind will carry her. But when in your ship you have crossed the stream of ocean, there is a scrubbed shore there, and the groves of Persephone, tall black poplars, and willows that shed their fruit unripened. Beach the ship there on ocean's deep eddying edge, and go on yourself into the dank house of Hades. There into Acheron pour Pyrphlegethon and Cocytus, which is a branch broken off the water of Styx, and there is a rock, at the meeting roar of the two rivers. Draw close to it there, hero, as I command you, and dig a pit about a cubit's measure this way and that, and around it pour a drink offering to all the dead, first with milk and honey mingled, then with sweet wine, the third time with water, and sprinkle white barley over it, and entreat over and over the strengthless heads of the dead. Vow that, come to Ithaca, you will offer in your halls a barren heifer, your best, and heap the pyre with good things, and to Tiresias apart alone you will sacrifice a ram all black, the one that stands out from all your flocks. Then, when with prayers you have entreated the glorious tribes of the dead, sacrifice a ram and a black ewe, bending their heads toward Erebus, but turn yourself away, facing the river streams. And there will come, in crowds, the souls of the dead who are gone. Then rouse your companions, and command them to flay the sheep that lie there slaughtered by the pitiless bronze, and burn them, and pray to the gods, to mighty Hades and dread Persephone. And you, draw the sharp sword from beside your thigh, and sit, and do not let the strengthless heads of the dead come near the blood before you question Tiresias. And quickly then the seer will come, leader of peoples, and he will tell you the road, and the measures of your journey, and your homecoming, how you shall go over the fish-filled sea." So she spoke, and at once dawn of the golden throne came on. She dressed me then in my clothes, a cloak and a tunic, and she, the nymph, put on a great silver-shining mantle, fine-woven and graceful, and cast about her waist a belt, beautiful, golden, and set a veil on her head above. And I went through the halls and roused my companions with gentle words, standing by each man in turn. No more lying now, drowsing in sweet sleep. Let us go, the lady Circe has shown me the way. So I spoke, and their proud hearts consented. But not even from there could I bring my companions off unharmed. There was one, Elpenor, the youngest of all, no great fighter in war, no steady mind on him, who had lain down apart from his companions in the sacred house of Circe, heavy with wine, wanting the cool air. Hearing the noise and stir of his companions moving, he leapt up all at once, and forgot in his fuddled wits to come back down again by the long ladder. He fell headlong from the roof, and his neck snapped from the spine, and his soul went down to Hades. And as my men were setting out, I spoke among them. You think no doubt that you are going home to your own dear fatherland, but Circe has marked out another road for us. to the house of Hades and dread Persephone, to consult the ghost of Theban Tiresias. So I spoke, and their own hearts broke within them. They sat down right where they were, and wailed, and tore their hair, but nothing came of all their mourning. And while we walked to the fast ship in the shore of the sea, grieving, letting the big tears fall, Circe meanwhile had gone down, and beside the black ship had tethered a ram in a black ewe, slipping past us with ease. Who could see a god, against the god's will, moving here or there?